Welcome to Travel Crochet. My name is Tracy. Today's video I'm going to go into 12 paid patterns and I'm going to review them, and I've tried and tested the patterns myself to let you know what I think of the patterns, if they are beginner friendly, market friendly, or more intermediate. So this will be the 12 for this video. So I will be doing this in alphabetical order again, like I did the last video, so no certain my top 10 or whatever, it's just in the order that I have them in. So I have a list on my screen here beside me, so I'll be looking sideways a little bit occasionally to see what's next. Alright, first up I have axolotls. So I had actually tried a few free patterns before and I thought I would purchase a pattern to see the difference. So this is actually Crochet Grove's pattern. So I have made 3 of them, 2 in this larger size. Now this is new yarn I got, I believe it's in between the size of Parfait Chunky and Hobby's, what's it called, Honey Bunny, I think. So it's sort of in between those two, so I've used a size 4 hook for these. Unless I specify differently, that's what most of these have been made in, except for like this one is a smaller velvet chenille yarn, so that's why it's a bit smaller. I did use the size 4 hook for this and these. It's just slightly varying because this yarn is thinner. Anyway, reviewing the pattern, so with this particular pattern I really like the way that you go around the gills. The free pattern, or a couple of free patterns that I'd tried, made the gills look rather, I don't know, messy, and just the clean way of surface crocheting the frill around the edge. And yes, OCD, I have to have my price tag on it, so you're going to see that no matter what. I apologize for that. And the other thing I've learned about the axolotls is that the big craze appeared to have come from Minecraft. So there's axolotls in the game Minecraft that the kids play, and so then I googled the colours of the Minecraft ones, and there is the light pink with the darker pink frill, then there's the purple with the darker purple frill, the white one with the pink frill, then there's a yellow one with a darker yellow frill, and there's a brown one as well. But from what I've seen, these are the 3 colours that sell the most at markets. This is very market friendly, it's quite quick and easy to make, and it's a no-sew pattern, so definitely very friendly for market prepping. The legs are in bubble stitches, but it's good that it is written in the pattern that, you know, to take note that if your legs or your bubble stitch is not going to line up with the other one, you might need to, you know, go a couple of extra stitches or minus a few stitches to make sure that it's lined up, which is great. So that is the first paid pattern that I have reviewed. Now the second pattern, where is it? Here it is a bumblebee. So not just the normal bees that you see everyone doing the market prepping. This is also a no-sew pattern. Well, mostly you sew the wings on, sorry. You create the legs, 3 legs on each side. That's created in one piece, the 3 legs, and then you crochet, no, sorry, you sew them in. So it's a little bit of sewing, but it's not heaps. This is the antenna on the top of the head here is surface crocheted in, but I think it's nice. It's got a bit of a nicer shape to the body. It's not all one big cylinder, I think it will go well at markets. So there is a bit of sewing, but it doesn't add that much extra time to a typical bee. And I don't know, it gives it a little bit more character, I feel. So this pattern I was very happy with. I didn't find any problems with the pattern, and yeah, so I do recommend this. Now this pattern is actually written by Shield Maiden Crochet. I will have all the links to all these patterns in the description below, so you'll be able to check out the links there. So I think this would be very good at a market. Alright, that was pattern number 2. Pattern number 3 is this guy. This gorgeous clownfish. So this clownfish is paid pattern by All From Jade. Now this pattern, you do surface crochet the top fins. The back fin is just a continuation of the main body, and the side fins you surface crochet into it. The only extra sort of bits, but all surface crocheting, is coming back with the black and going around. It's probably not the fastest pattern I have done, but I think if you did it often enough you would get faster at it, since it was I have made this once before. So yeah, again the same thicker chenille yarn that I've used, which is between the Parfait Chunky and the Honey Bunny. Yeah, I really love this pattern. Didn't have any problems working out the pattern at all. Very well written, so I would highly recommend this one as well. Alright, moving on to the next one is an elephant pattern. So I've actually done this one in 2 sizes. The first time I made it, it's this guy. This is really thin velvet yarn. This is the one I use the size 2.5 crochet hook. So he's really little guy. This pattern is by the Stitch Studio CA. By the way, these are all Etsy patterns I've purchased off Etsy. Now this pattern, I don't mind the end result. I think it's cute. However, the way the legs are made, you are basically stitching the 4 legs together, but there's no belly as such. There's no separate belly. So he's kind of standing with his legs together. I mean, it kind of gives him a cute vibe, I guess. But I don't know, to me that was, yeah, kind of missing his belly underneath. And you have to, once you sort of stitch the 4 legs together, you have to go back and on the inside stitch them all together so you've got no great big gaps. So that was my biggest issue, I think, with this pattern. And then I've got the next size up, and again you can see no belly, just the 4 legs. But look, I think it's still quite cute. I will make it again most likely, or I might search for one that's got a bit of a belly. I don't know. What do you think? What do you? I'm kind of half decided about this pattern, to be honest. I'm not quite sure. If it looks too stumpy and squished together, or if it makes it look cute. What do you think? I don't know. Let me know. Alright, so did I say who this one is by? I did. Stitch Studio CA. Alright, I am using my GoPro, so I will just give it a break for a second. I'm going to be back. Okay, the next pattern that I have reviewed is this gorgeous giraffe. So it's got spots going throughout his body, has a belly, and they're very separate legs, and I must say I absolutely loved creating this guy. I will make this pattern over and over again. I hope that these guys sell well at a market, because I would love to keep making them. This is by Crochet Grove. I believe it's Annabelle who runs Crochet Grove. I believe she is a brilliant pattern writer, and it was something that I hadn't come across in a pattern previously, for the hooves to make this really well, like flat bottomed hoof. Oh, and I've got a fly around me. You crochet into the back loop, but it's the third loop of the half double crochet, so that really creates this really flat bottomed hooves, which makes it, well, you can't see, but is so easily to stand up. The shaping of the head, the shaping of the body, I just love it, love it, love it. Highly recommend this pattern. Did not have one issue with it at all. So many photos, they give links to videos, so clear. Highly, highly, highly recommend this one. I'm back. Sorry, I have to give my GoPro a break. Like I've said in other previous videos, it doesn't like heat and it's quite hot at the moment. Anyway, continuation with the giraffe. So this is not a no-sew pattern. You create the 4 little legs separately, then the pattern you do create them in the body and the neck. You create the head separate, the ears separate, the, what do you call them? I've forgotten what you call these, horns. They're not horns. And the tail separate. So you sew the tail, sew the ears, sew the horns. The head is one separate one piece that you sew onto the neck. So it is a fair amount of sewing. However, I think that some detailed patterns like this are certainly well worth the effort of doing that. So this is the giraffe pattern, Crochet Grove. Alright, going on to the next pattern. Now, I said at the start that this was going to be a review of 12 patterns. I've decided to make it 13 because I actually have 2 of these from the same designer, different birds or different patterns, but these guys, I'll have to show you one at a time, they're so big. So here we have a black cockatoo. So it's an Australian bird, very detailed in the patterns. It does, I would say that these are more for advanced crocheters, not beginners. There, I must admit, in both the patterns there was in places I didn't quite understand what I needed to do and kind of went with it, winged it kind of, and managed to look the same as what her photos showed. Yeah, it was just some things like I think the wording maybe I got a little bit lost. However, I managed to get there, and it, like I said, it still does look like the end result that she has in her photos. So this is Crow with the Flow, an Australian designer. She creates patterns of mostly Australian animals. So this is the black cockatoo, and then the other pattern that I just finished today, and look, is actually quite large in this size. The other one's smaller. This one was the thinner sort of velvet yarn, still size 4 hook. This one's in the thicker yarn that I was talking about earlier, size 4 hook as well, but just larger because it's thicker yarn. So this is a kookaburra, Australian kookaburra. Very well written patterns. There is just, like in the kookaburra, there was a section where it says skip a stitch and then go back to the previous stitch, but if I did that, it kind of, the count went wrong. But if I just continued and didn't worry about skip the stitch, the count ended up right, and it still ended up looking the same as her photos. So yeah, I got a little bit confused there, but yeah, so you create the beak separate, sew on the wings separate and sew them on, and the tail, feathers, 3 separate pieces, sew them together and then sew on the body. But the main actual body is one piece. Again, Adele, sorry, she has and recommends, and she's trying to encourage everyone to create the crocheted eyes. I've used safety eyes. Like I've said in a previous video, I live in a caravan, so I don't have all the different types of yarn, so I don't have a huge amount of acrylic yarn to make those eyes in, so I am sticking with the safety eyes with these. But yeah, highly recommend these patterns if you are not an absolute beginner crocheter, but I'm sure if you were lost, you could contact Adele from Crow with the Flow and she would be able to help you with the pattern. So it's kind of a 2-for-1 deal with this one. I have quite a few of her other patterns that I intend to make shortly as well. So yeah, that'll be in another video, no doubt. Right, so my next pattern that I tested was a mermaid pattern. So this is it here. So this pattern is by Madeline May Co. This pattern is pretty much no-sew. You just got to make the arms separately, but then you sew them into the body while you're creating the body, and then you create sort of the one fin and the second fin and join them together, and then continue up through the body to the head. The hair you add, you loop through separately. The pattern does say just to do around the outside, but I actually add more into the center. I just think it makes it look a little bit more like fuller, I don't know, full head of hair. So these are both done in the smaller velvet chenille yarn. I haven't done them in the next one up, but it would be larger. Great for markets. I've actually made quite a few of these and they sell quite well in markets. They don't take too long to make, and yeah, girls and boys have liked them so far. But yeah, highly recommend this pattern. Well written, easy to read, and yeah, didn't have any issues with the pattern at all. There we go. So next pattern is a Ninja Turtle pattern. So this is a nearly no-sew pattern. I did make some little adjustments myself. This belt around his body that's sort of behind the shell, that part stays on, but I found that the front could slip down easy, so I just did when I was sewing the shell on, I just went through to the front and just did a little loop through there, so that sort of kept the belt in position. And then at the back where you change colors, it was quite noticeable where these color changes were, so I just surface crocheted a couple down here, so it sort of looks like the back of their bandana and sort of doesn't look so much like the color changes. But otherwise, pattern is really quick to make, easy to make, so much so that I decided to make all 4 colors for the different Ninja Turtles. I can't remember who's who. Where are we? Ugh. So there we go, we've got the 4 there. I haven't made these before for markets. This is the first time making them. Easy bobble stitches for the legs. Again, it just sort of reminds you to move if the bobble stitches aren't matching up with the eyes. You just got to link them up with the eyes. But yeah, highly recommend this pattern. Really easy, very quick to make. I just made these in a quick evening one night. So yeah, think they're a really cute pattern. I think they should do really well. I'm going to sell these guys for $8 each and see how they go. But oh, and now this pattern is by, hang on, my computer has decided to shut off on me. The pattern is by Love Me Dearly Handmade. This pattern I am so glad that I found. I will never make the old version of what I used to make for this particular animal again, I don't think, after finding this pattern. And this one is the realistic looking octopus. I think it's absolutely fabulous. Very, very quick to make. The instructions pattern is so well written. So you create the head first, you finish that off, and in the back loops or front loops, I can't remember, that's where you do the crocheting for the tentacles. But it's so quick to make. Again, I got excited with these and ended up making 3 different colors of them. So this is a all from jade pattern, and I don't think, unless people don't like the look of a realistic looking octopus, but I think these are fabulous. And to me, it was taking just as much time to make this realistic looking octopus to what it was to create the normal round with tentacle octopus. So I'm going to stick to these guys. I'll see how they go. I haven't had them at a market yet, but and it's got the bubble stitches underneath for the backs of the tentacles. Just fabulous. Absolutely love it. And you got the eyes in the bubble stitches. Just so realistic. Love it. Highly recommend. Highly recommend. I think they'll do really well, and I'm going to sell these guys. What price have I got on these? For $10 each. Pattern is a fairly new released pattern. It comes in a pattern bundle of 3 birds. I've only managed to do 1 so far, and this is Ronald the Rooster. This is this guy here. I like how he's got a nice shaped body and a bit of a bum. You create the feet separately, but then you crochet them in while you're making the body. The beak you also create separately, but then it's crocheted in. The wattle, same thing, made separately, crocheted in, but and the surface crochet, the top, I can't even remember what the top's called of a rooster. Crest. Thank you, hubby, in background. Crest. And again, this pattern is by Apple Tree Boutique on Etsy, or Stacey Makes on YouTube. Again, Stacey in the pattern has warned you that due to tension, where the placement of the wings are in the pattern, you may have to add more stitches or take away stitches depending on your tension. I don't think I quite lined up this wing far enough forward compared to the other one, but I mean, he's pretty close. I think first time around I got him a little bit crooked, but that's my fault, not the pattern's fault. But I think this is a great alternative. I've also seen a few people make this pattern without the wattle and then just made it like a chicken rather than a rooster, so you can do that. But yeah, very easy to read pattern, and Stacey's made the pattern so it's flat bottom, so he sits nicely. But yeah, I think this pattern will do very well at a market. I've got him priced at $8 because it was quite fast to make, and I think he'll do well. So yeah, highly recommend this one. I had no last pattern. This pattern, I must admit, any issues that I've had, it is entirely my fault, because I didn't realize I received some new yarn that I'd ordered this week, and I thought it was the same as the previous yarn I had, and it wasn't, and they're 2 different sizes. And so I've made Shrek, however the brown, this lighter brown in his legs was way skinnier than everything else here, so he's kind of disproportionate. So I will make him again with all the right size, but I guess Shrek as an ogre, he is sort of shorter in the legs, but so that's why I sort of continued with him. You create the legs, join them, and then continue up with the body. You make the head is also in part of the main pattern. You create the ears separately, sew them on, create the arms. I think you were meant to sew them on, but I saw where they were meant to be sewed on in the pattern and I just crocheted them in. And then you've got the little vest that you make separately, and you've got the little ties at the front. I think the pattern was quite well written. It was literally just my fault for the stuff ups, and that's why he kind of looks a bit disproportionate, so I want to make him again. And in the pack, when you purchase this, it comes with Fiona, Donkey and Puss in Boots. So I would like to make them all, but again, I thought in my yarn order I had ordered orange yarn, and somehow I missed out on that and forgot to order it. So I still need to get some orange yarn so I'll be able to make Puss in Boots, because I need Gingy to have his right colours. But anyway, I really found this pattern to be really good, and this is by Fennec Toys UA on Etsy. But again, everything will be linked in the description below. I've kind of, yeah, hoping that next time I make him, he can be a little bit more properly shaped, and I'll be able to show him again next time looking a little bit better, I hope. Okay, this last pattern, I must say, as soon as I saw it released, I went on Etsy and purchased the pattern straight away. I was very excited to see this one. So this is Crochet by Jenna's Triceratops, and I think the colours that I've made him in, and his gorgeous eyes, glittery holographic eyes, look so good. There was one mistake that I made when I didn't read the pattern properly when I was making the frill. I was meant to just do the edging of the dark blue around the top, but I was watching something, a movie or something, and got carried away and went all the way around. So he's a little bit thicker than it's supposed to be, but I don't think it takes away from it. I just wasn't concentrating. Again, I love the way Jenna has created that you create the legs, the forelegs, and then but the belly separate, and join the legs to the belly and continue around. You do create the tail separately and sew that on, and the horns are also created separately and sewn on, and the frill is sewn on. So it's a bit of sewing, but again, and the head is created separately and sewn on. So there is a bit of sewing, so if you don't like sewing, but honestly, to get detailed patterns like this, you really do need to end up sewing. But yeah, so I found that this pattern was really easy to read. Again, I just didn't take any notice with the frill, but I didn't find any issues reading the pattern or working out where anything should go or anything like that. But I love this guy, he's so cute, so cute. Sorry Robin, I had to say the so cute. Alright, so that was what, number 13 paid patterns that I have tried and reviewed. Yeah, really didn't have much trouble. Actually, no, I lied. There was another pattern that I did try that I'm unable to show you the end result, because I actually tried it 4 times and I couldn't complete it. For some reason, this pattern, I will have to look it up which one it was. bear with me, I'll be back in a second and I'll look it up. I found the other pattern. So the other pattern was, it's actually a 10-in-1 pack of dinosaurs, and I've been wanting to make more dinosaurs. Like, I've made the Triceratops, but I want to try a few different designers, and I've only tried one of this 10 packs so far, so I can't say I'll have the issue with all the patterns, but the one I have tried so far was the Plesiosaurus, I think that's what it's called. For some reason, like, normally when you're making amigurumi toys, you work in the spiral. This pattern, you don't. You slip stitch at the end of each row and chain one, and for the life of me I couldn't get it to work. I tried it, like I said, 4 times. What the pattern was saying and what was coming out with the slip stitching and that, and then I just tried doing the spiral and that didn't work either. I ended up getting so frustrated I had to give up. So this pattern pack is actually by Kein Maker, K-E-I-N Maker. Again, I'm not to say that it's not me reading the pattern wrong or what. I haven't tried any of the other in their 10 pack yet, which I endeavour to try, but so far the Plesiosaurus I was unable to complete, and I just had to give up and I frogged her all out. So yeah, there was one that I unfortunately wasn't able to complete, but all the other ones I was able to show you I've been quite happy with. So if you like these type of videos, please let me know if it's going through free patterns or paid patterns, and I think by before the end of this month, which is a few days, I'll have to show you everything I've made for the last 2-3 weeks, because I've been doing these other videos instead. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you like this kind of video, please let me know, give me a thumbs up, and I hope you'll subscribe if you're interested in seeing more. And in next year I'm hoping to attend more markets. I'm still just prepping away for the next market that I am able to attend, and we'll see you soon with the next video. See you then, bye.